was there. Raila Odinga's politics are grown from the big man syndrome. You don't agree with him, he crushes you. Look at Musalia Mudavadi. Just 2 months ago, Raila was saying Musalia is the best thing since chewing gum. This is a friend of ODM. We are fighting a friend.
He's my guy.
Inside. No, we are fighting inside. And if he defeats me, I will beat him. So they go for meetings and they discuss about the rules of elections. And what does he do? At night, he goes and does the opposite of what they agree. And when he does not agree, Musalia Mudavadi leaves and says, let's compete friendly elections, peaceful elections. But the next thing you hear, abuse after abuse. So the way in which Moi governed is no different from the way in which Raila is governing. In the sense that Moi believed in the theory of Machiavelli. The theory of Machiavelli is that you crush your enemies completely and you give them no chance for survival.
So it's not a level playing field?
Oh, not at all. And according to Moi, all he would want to do is give his dynasty to Gideon. And therefore, he thinks if Raila can come and protect Gideon and his family, then that's enough. Because the others who may come in, who are not stroke reformers, might go and ask hard questions of the Moi legacy, which includes some of the deals that he has done with Moi, with Raila. And I'm saying that there is a fundamental problem in this country. And the fundamental problem is that we give the Prime Minister the benefit of the doubt. And he's given the benefit of the doubt because he was arrested. But nobody talks to me about Kenneth Matiba. Nobody talks to me about Tom Mboya. Nobody talks to me about the late Ouko. Nobody talks to me about the late Degama Pinto. Nobody talks to me about Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, who was jailed in Kapenguria for 6 years. Nobody talks to me about the Kikuyu nation who were attacked in their homes in the 2007 elections and were victims and now are being hauled to the Hague as though they were the attackers. So the point I'm making is this is a skewed politics. A politics which is meant to benefit 2 people, 3 people, 5 people, a certain class of people.
Right.
And I want to say that the picture of the Prime Minister and the former president is no accident. I believe there are deep and sincere talks with them. They made a deal over Mau, and they will make a deal again and again and again, and Raila will do anything to be president of Kenya.
Well, let me ask you this, Tony. What does that say about the rest of us? Are we like sheep? Are we that stupid that we cannot see the trees, or rather the forest for the trees? Is that what we are?
Let me ask you a question. They talk about integrity and leadership bill. And every time they talk about it, the Raila group and everybody, they talk about the ICC. Is leadership and integrity about the ICC? What about people who have stolen, golden bag?
Billions.
They've stolen, I don't know, billions of shillings. In all the years under Moi, Kenya was looted to the biggest amount, over $1 billion was looted under Moi. And Raila, who is talking about integrity and leadership, goes there with his wife to see the man, and they've been lecturing the whole country about integrity and leadership. Moi ought to be tried for crimes against humanity because he's the man who impoverished this country. In fact, I remember there was a time the dollar was over 100 and something. Right. I mean, the interest rates were in their 70s.
They were through the roof.
They were through the roof. That's how come Lech Patni, all these people were created.
So Moi's biggest fear is that the wrong person, according to him, may end up in State House.
Why is Raila talking about Takwel Gorge? No. Is he talking about Golden Bag? Is he talking about agro-leasing that began under Moi? Is he talking about the inflated prices for the aircraft, the Mahindra, motor vehicles of the police that were bought? Is he talking about Moi's land inside the Mau forest? Is he talking about how Moi became wealthy from a common teacher to one of the richest men in Africa? Does Raila talk about those things? Are those things not what a reformist should be talking about? Or is a reformist supposed only to be talking about every morning, Uhuru Kenyatta, every morning? I mean, is that what reform is about? So let us be clear. If you are going to have standards of reform, let them be equal standards for everyone.
But let me ask you this, Tony. Every poll that has been released to us the last several months, they show Raila clearly in the lead. Clearly. Whether it's Sinovate, whether it's InfoTrack, no matter who's behind these polls, they all show Raila's in the lead. Would he be that desperate to go to Kabarak and attend church service with his former president?
I want to tell you first thing. In fact, Eugene Wamalwa, the Minister for Justice, was an observer in the French election and found out that there is actually an act that regulates opinion polls in France. You must disclose the sample size, the scientific methods, and so forth. This country is just passing in the process of passing an opinion polls act. And I guarantee that once that act is there, you will find better regulation of opinion polls. That's number one. The last opinion poll, Raila dropped by 8 points. And Musalia Mudavadi rose by 8.
Yeah, but Raila was still clearly in the lead.
But I am saying he dropped by 8 points. And he's been dropping from a so-called 48 level margin downward. Yeah. In 2007, Kalonzo Musyoka was 36% in the ratings. He was the most popular presidential candidate. By the time we finished the election, he was going in between. He said he was at Katikati. You know, so what I am trying to explain is Raila is desperate to remain relevant and to keep his ratings where he may think they are. And to do that, he will always try and play political gimmicks, whichever way they are. For example, with the Kalenjin people, I heard Orengo talking about the Mau forest, and that the people who are evicted will be now settled in Nakuru and some in Kericho. And now you go and see the other biggest beneficiary of the Mau, who is called Moi. I'm sure you tell him, don't worry, we're not going to touch you. So what is he telling the Kalenjin people? Keep the Mau. Those who have a problem with the Mau will settle you, because he has lost political mileage within the Kalenjin. And therefore, I will dance with Henry Kosgei in the morning. I will see Moi on Sunday morning. I will do whatever is possible. And when Kosgei was at the Hague, they were not speaking.
Correct.
Now that he's free, they say, but this man has always been clean. If he had been convicted, I'm telling you, if he was being confirmed, Raila would never mention his name. That is the character of the man you're talking about.
Tony.
And I don't think Raila is desperate. I just think he's smart. And I don't think Moi is desperate. I think he's also smart. And when I use the word smart, and I've told you this before, Hitler was a smart leader. Smart leaders do not mean that they cannot be dictatorial or use their smartness to outmaneuver others by being cheeky. And I put it to you that both Moi and Odinga are playing the same game of self-preservation, and that game is a game of the past. And they are relics of the past who grew from strong men of the past. And that is why I gave you the history of Africa.
Tony, hold that thought, because people need to know this.
Yes.
People think that we're just talking out of not knowing stuff, but these are facts as they are, and we need to know the facts. And speaking of facts, Nation newspaper is about to serialize Miguna Miguna's book, Peeling Back the Mask, which will be launched this weekend. What's that going to do? Because there are a lot of people trying to downplay this book, but will it be a fundamental change? Will it be a game changer in this election? Also, going forward, let's paint a picture of the election, whenever they're going to be. Is it going to be March? Because definitely not December. When will it be? And who will be the front runners? Hold that thought, Tony. Hold that thought. It's only Monday.
Okay, I will be back.
Tony Gashoka, folks. Somebody, I haven't said this in a while, Tony, but somebody called G4S. There's a fire brewing, burning, blazing on the bench, and it's only Monday. Do not even think of touching that remote control, folks. If you missed the first half, you better watch the repeat, because Tony has just thrown down the gauntlet. Back in a moment.